Company dinner. Everyone has the right to order a dish. When it was my turn, Wang Ling, the new intern, snatched the menu away. We've ordered enough, no need for more. I ignored him. I turned to the waiter and said, I'd like a plate of snowy red bean paste. But Wang Ling slammed the menu right in my face. He glowered at me furiously. I said no ordering, so no ordering. Who do you think you are anyway? A red scratch was left on my face. It stung like crazy. My anger was boiling up inside me. I grabbed the menu and slammed it right back in his face. He immediately screamed and roared. Do you know who my mom is? Her name is Wang Nan. She's the biggest client of our company. Even the boss treats me politely. How dare you hit me? I'll take away your top sales title and get you blacklisted in the whole industry. I was stunned. My Aunt Wang Nan has been single for 40 years. When did she have such a grown son? I froze on the spot. Wang Ling got even more arrogant. What, are you scared now? You soft guy who only gets sales by your good looks. Having you at this dinner is already polluting the air. And you still want to order food. Get sales by my face. I work my ass off making proposals day and night. I spend 8 hours a day on the construction site covered in dust. I got so tanned, even my mom can't recognize me. He actually says I rely on my face. I pulled my chair back, stood up and stared right at him. Wang Ling, watch your mouth. I get my sales with my real strength. Everyone here knows I'm capable. You have no right to judge me. It's a company dinner, not your treat. If I don't deserve to order food, you deserve it even less. I smelled a bad smell as soon as I walked in. Turns out it's coming from your stinky mouth. All colleagues lowered their heads and snickered. They've long been fed up with Wang Ling's arrogance. He has been interning at the company for a month, treating colleagues like his personal servants. When new employee Lin Shi refused to get him coffee, he poured a whole cup of coffee over Lin Shi's head. Lin Shi's scalp was scalded and blistered. Not only did he not apologize, he even threatened her, saying, You dare ask me to apologize? I'll get you kicked out of this company. In the end, the company covered her medical expenses. I wanted to stand up for her back then, but my colleagues stopped me. I was confused. Why none of them dared to speak up? Turns out they were scared of his title as Wang Nan's son. Wang Ling's face turned red with anger. He pointed at my nose and shouted, Zhang Chen, don't play smart with me. Without my mom's support, this company would go bankrupt. I'm telling you, I'm in charge of this dinner today. If I don't allow you to order food, you just can't order. Who do you think you are? How dare you go against me? If you dare order any dish, I'll get you fired tomorrow. The waiter heard this, looked at me awkwardly. Sir, would you still like to order that dish? I said without hesitation. I don't buy that at all. I can make tens of millions of profit for the company with one single project. How come I don't even deserve to order a single dish? What's all the noise about? Zhou Jiangguo, the boss, pushed the door and walked in. He looked very upset. This is a company dinner, not a place for you to fight. What's going on here? Wang Ling didn't give anyone a chance to explain. He put on a wronged look and twisted the truth. Before I could even say anything, Boss Zhou looked at me sternly. Zhang Chen, you're a senior employee here. Don't you know frugality is our company's principle? Wang Ling did this to save the company money by ordering one less dish. Would you die if you don't eat that dish? And you even hit him first. That's even more wrong. Apologize to Wang Ling right now, and pay him 10,000 yuan as mental damage compensation. Then we can drop this matter. I was so angry that I laughed out loud. I looked straight at him. Boss Zhou, are you sure you want me to apologize and compensate? Zhou Jiangguo's expression was very complicated. Lin Yi quickly tugged at the corner of my shirt. He whispered to persuade me, cousin. Don't be stubborn. Wang Ling is Wang Nan's son. You can't afford to mess with him. For this cooperation with Tianyue, Boss Zhou is counting on him to close the deal. I couldn't help laughing. You believe him just because he says his mom is Wang Nan. Lin Yi took out her phone and opened Wang Ling's social media account. On the day he actually joined the company, Mr. Wang personally dropped him off here. I stared at the people in the photo. My jaw almost hit the floor. My gorgeous aunt in a dress was standing in front of a luxury car, and Wang Lin was actually right next to her. Wang Lin added a caption too. Thanks, Mom, for taking time out of your busy schedule to drop me off for my internship. I won't let you down, I promise. I called my aunt right away. But all I got was the phone is off notification tone. Seeing I wouldn't apologize, Wang Ling stared daggers at me. Zhang Chen, you're gonna regret this. I'll make you pay for this. The next day, the price he talked about actually came true. At the commendation ceremony, the top sales honor that was supposed to be mine, along with the 500,000 RMB bonus, both went to Wang Ling. On the acceptance speech slide of the PPT, they didn't even have time to replace my name. This is straight up robbery. I felt a surge of anger rise in my chest. I questioned them right on the spot. What are the criteria for selecting the top salesperson? My total project sales this month exceeded 1 billion RMB, generated tens of millions in revenue for the company. I'm way ahead of the second place, by 5 million RMB in profit, while Wang Lin hasn't closed a single order. I'd like to ask all the leaders here, why did you give my top sales title to Wang Lin? The entire venue fell silent immediately. The finance minister and sales director looked at each other. Neither dared to say a word. Wang Lin looked at me with arrogant eyes. Of course it's because you got these projects through dirty tricks. The company can't condone such scummy behavior from you. Right now, we're only revoking your top sales qualification. If you keep using these sleazy tactics to damage the company's reputation, then what's waiting for you? Is getting fired. I was shaking with anger. I scanned all the leaders on the podium. Those who used to praise me for my strong business skills and call me a promising talent are now all avoiding my gaze, hanging their heads, acting like cowards. I looked at the top leader of the company, Bai Jiwei. Is this what you think too? Bai Jiwei was called out in public, and he was obviously very unhappy. He frowned impatiently. Jiang Chen, the company has its own considerations. Don't ruin the commendation ceremony over this trivial matter. You need to have a sense of the bigger picture. The bigger picture? My eyes turned red, and my voice started shaking too. The bigger picture you're talking about means I work all year round with no days off. Work overtime till 12 a.m. every day. Work my ass off to win projects. And then they get handed over to someone else as their achievement, because of a groundless rumor from him. You erase all my contributions and don't even bat an eye. I'd like to ask, where is fairness? Where is justice? You're treating an employee who has made huge contributions to the company like this. Don't you feel guilty at all? President Bai was left speechless by my questions. Wang Lin, on the other hand, showed no shame at all. He lifted his chin as he looked at me. Fairness. He let out a disdainful laugh. Jiang Chen, don't be so childish. In this society, whoever has power gets to decide what's fair. If you want justice, then go find a rich dad to come deliver justice for you. Too bad you don't have one. He didn't hide the contempt on his face at all, and said to me coldly, and as the son of Wang Nan, the president of Tianyue Group, my status can crush you so hard you'll never get back up in your life. I stared at him. I really don't know where he got his confidence from. I even started to wonder if my aunt really had a secret illegitimate child behind the whole family's back. I suddenly spoke up. I heard President Wang has a nephew that she treats like her own son. I wonder if you've met Wang Xiaoguan before. Wang Lin's expression froze for a second. Then he glanced at me disdainfully. That's my cousin. Of course I've met him. But my cousin lives abroad all year round and rarely comes back to China. Even I barely see him, let alone a low-life commoner like you. I let out a snort of laughter. Oh, really? Is Wang Xiaoguan not a lowlife? For stealing someone's top sales title and bonus, could it be that he's a fake young master? Wang Lin's face turned livid with anger. He glared at me viciously. Jiang Chen, don't push your luck. We took away your top sales title because you don't deserve it. As for me, I earned it with my own strength. Your own strength? I took a step forward and stared him down. You mean slacking off and playing games at work every day? And taking 2-hour lunch breaks? The ability to clock out sharp at 5 p.m., or your superpower of sitting in front of the computer all day, barely writing a single thing, and only typing the word proposal on your PPT. I don't speak fast, but every word I say is enough to humiliate her. She opened her mouth but couldn't get a word out, and looked at Bai Jiwei for help. A look of bitter disappointment flashed across Bai Jiwei's face. He looked at me and lowered his voice. Jiang Chen, watch your mouth. This is a company, not a wet market. You can't boss people around here. Don't think just because you landed a few projects for the company you can run wild. Survival of the fittest. You have to accept being replaced by someone more capable. Stop making a scene. All eyes turned to me at once, waiting to watch me make a fool of myself fighting the company over the 500,000 yuan bonus. I don't care about 500K, not even 5 million. What I want is fairness. I wasn't angry. I didn't argue back. I smiled sarcastically. Fine, I accept it. The top sales title does belong to the more capable person. Right after I got back to my desk, HR sent out 2 appointment and removal notices. Employee Jiang Chen spent public funds lavishly on meals, which has seriously violated company regulations. Therefore, Jiang Chen is removed from the post of sales manager and suspended for self-reflection. Intern Wang Ling bravely safeguards the company's interests and performed excellently during her internship, generating huge profits for the company. She is now officially hired as a full-time employee, taking over Jiang Chen's position as sales manager, and will be in charge of all follow-up projects. Right after that, Mr. Bai tagged me in the group chat. Jiang Chen, you are extravagant and wasteful, and ignore company rules. Your bonus this month is deducted. Write a 10,000-word handwritten self-criticism and send it to the group. All other employees should take this as a warning. That's way too much. Stripping me of my top sales title, docking my bonus, making an example of me as a negative role model, putting me on a highly visible sacrificial altar, using my humiliation to establish his authority. The group chat went dead silent immediately. Even the office fell completely quiet. Everyone glanced at me subtly, some with sympathy, some with regret, some with anger, and some taking pleasure in my misfortune. The message just sat there with no reply, as if everyone was waiting for me to humiliate myself and apologize in the group. Mr. Bai tagged me in the group again. Can't you see that? I still didn't reply. He went crazy on the other end, tagging me nonstop, persistently. He ting sent me a WeChat message. Brother Chen, stop being so stubborn. Just give in a little. Your job is the most important thing. I smiled at her, laughing until tears came to my eyes. My stiff fingers tapped on the phone screen. I replied shakily, Got it, boss. I will definitely keep this lesson in mind. I will never order a 40 yuan dish again. To splurge on meals? And be wasteful. Next time we have a company dinner, I'll only drink water and eat no food. This seemingly apologetic message was like a drop of water falling into a hot oil pan. It looked calm on the surface, but actually it exposed every employee's disappointment with the company. I directly logged out of all company software and revoked my access. To take my suspended self-reflection seriously, Mr. Bai said if you're not in the position, you don't need to handle its responsibilities. He moved me to a desk next to the bathroom, forcing me to put up with the looks from passing colleagues, who were either disdainful or pitying. Wang Ling sat triumphantly at my old desk, bossing around all the department employees. But my seat isn't that easy to take. I personally handled every single project before, from design to execution. I knew every single detail by heart, but Wang Ling had no clue about anything. In just a few days, over a dozen clients filed complaints, demanding that I take over the projects, or they would cancel their cooperation. The company was facing huge compensation fees. Mr. Bai finally couldn't take it anymore. He condescended to come to my desk. Jiang Chen, these projects were handled by you. There are some technical issues now. Go coordinate and fix them. Make sure the client is fully satisfied. I looked up casually and said with a confused look on my face, Mr. Bai, did you get the wrong person? I'm suspended for self-reflection, remember? Bai Jiwei froze for a second and spoke in a harsh tone. You still have to work even if you're suspended. Company rules state that you take full ownership of your projects. You have to be responsible for your projects till the end. I shrugged my shoulders. But I've already revoked all my access permissions. I can't follow up on it anymore. His expression froze. Rage simmered in his eyes. It's just a suspension for self-reflection, not a dismissal. Why did you cancel your account? Reapply for it right now. I looked at him calmly. That's what Mr. Bai said. If I don't hold the position, I don't take on its duties. I'm just following the boss's orders. Mr. Bai looked visibly embarrassed, but he still held back his temper. Fine, I'm reinstating you right now. Contact the clients immediately. Don't let them terminate the cooperation. I smiled a little. Mr. Bai, shouldn't you go to the better top salesperson for this? I'm just someone who gets results with my face. A kept man doesn't have that kind of ability. His face turned purple with rage. He tried his best to hold back his anger. Jiang Chen, that was just a joke between colleagues. Did you actually take it seriously? I still had a smile on my face, but there was an icy edge to that smile. Then was canceling my top sales title. And making me lose the 500k bonus a joke too. A 40 yuan dish being judged as excessive dining. And wasteful spending, is that a joke too? These words felt like slaps, hitting him right across the face accurately. His face went from red to white, then turned blue-purple. He fell silent. I knew he was fighting an internal battle. After all, bowing to apologize is beneath a big boss like him. Just then, Wang Lin ran over excitedly. Mr. Bai, Tian Yue agreed to inject capital. A triumphant smile immediately spread across Mr. Bai's face. Great job, Wang Lin. You're the lucky star of this company. With Tian Yue backing us up, those clients will be begging to work with us. He turned and glared at me viciously. Jiang Chen, you're fired. Go through the dismissal procedures right now. I nodded calmly. Fine, I asked the company to compensate me as per regulations. He roared in a fit of rage. You still want compensation? You caused huge losses to the company. Wait and see, the company will sue you. Wang Lin looked at me with venom in his eyes. Zhang, I'll get you blacklisted across the entire industry. I smiled faintly. Fine, I'll wait. I packed up my things quietly and walked out of the company I'd fought for a year. I'd poured all my passion and wisdom into this company. I didn't rely on connections or resources. I helped the company thrive with my own ability, only to end up getting fired. My heart felt like it had been rolled over ice blades, cold and aching. Colleagues came out to see me off one after another, saying words of comfort. Liu Tingting said with tears in her eyes, Brother Lin, you're so talented. You'll land on your feet anywhere. Don't take Wang Lin's words to heart. You'll definitely find a new job. I smiled and said nothing. Wang Lin doesn't have that kind of power. After leaving the company, I got a call from my aunt, who I hadn't heard from for 2 weeks. Ling, I was supposed to sign the contract with your company next week, but I'm going on a business trip to Africa for research. I won't be able to make it. I spoke sullenly. Aunt. I quit my job. There was a pause on the other end. Did you run into trouble at work? Do you need me to step in? No, I want to go back to the company. To be in charge of this project. After hanging up the phone, I curled my lips into a smile. Don't worry. The good show's just getting started. I showed up at the signing ceremony, which shocked everyone from my former company, especially Mr. Bai and Wang Lin. Their looks at me were sharp as knives. Wang Lin looked at me disdainfully. What are you doing here? You've already been fired. You have no right to be part of this signing. I glanced at him out of the corner of my eye. Just because I'm not an employee of your company doesn't mean I can't be here, right? Is there a possibility that I'm here as the client from Tianyue? He laughed scornfully. Zhang, are you kidding me? The CEO of Tianyue Group is my mom. I am the client side. I can fully represent my mom to sign the contract. How dare you claim to be from the client side? A cheap little gigolo like you? Aren't even fit to clean the toilets at Tianyue. As soon as he said that, he immediately drew countless stares. Oh, he's Mr. Wang's son. No wonder he's so impressive. Who dares to offend Mr. Wang's son? Does he want to get kicked out of Haicheng's business circle? Looks like someone who does sleazy work at nightclubs. He must be a total kept man. Nothing like Ms. Wang's son at all. Who's so handsome and promising? Wang Lin stood in the center, surrounded by fawning crowds, listening to all those flattering compliments. He was already on cloud 9. He looked at me, smiling even more wantonly. He ordered the security guards. Get this son of a bitch out of here right now. Start the signing immediately, right now. Several security guards walked towards me. I calmly took out a seal and held it above my head. Wang Lin doesn't have this. How can you sign the contract without it? Everyone was stunned on the spot, all eyes fixed on my hand. Isn't that Ms. Wang's exclusive crystal seal? I heard this seal is carved from natural Brazilian rose quartz. Its body is carved with interlocking lotus patterns. The bottom bears Tianyue Group's exclusive engraving. It took a famous jade carving master half a year to make. It's worth nearly 10 million yen. It's Wang Nan's exclusive token for important signing events. It's usually locked in the group's safe. No one except herself. Not even her personal assistant can touch it. How could it possibly end up with Jiang Chen? This fired former employee, the whole venue erupted in an instant. The guests who were originally surrounding Wang Lin all stepped back half a step in unison. Whispers broke out one after another. Even Bai Jiwei, standing next to Wang Lin, frowned. A faint flicker of unnoticeable doubt crossed his eyes. But right now all he cared about was the partnership with Tianyue. He didn't want to easily doubt this so-called son of Ms. Wang. Wang Lin's smile froze on his face. His pupils constricted sharply. He stared deadly at the seal in my hand. His fingers curled up unconsciously. His Adam's apple bobbed twice. Before he forced a calm tone and yelled, "That's a fake. Zhang, you got fired from the company. You hold a grudge against us. How dare you forge my mom's seal to ruin the signing? Do you know what crime that is? Forgery of corporate seal. That's enough to put you in jail for years." He deliberately raised his voice, trying to suppress everyone's doubts with aggressive momentum, but the slightly trembling end of his voice still exposed his panic. I rubbed the cool crystal seal with my fingertips. A cold smirk tugged at the corner of my mouth. I took 2 slow steps forward. The seal reflected brilliant light under the lamps. The patterns on its body were clearly visible. No one would think it's a counterfeit at first glance. Fake? Wang Lin, you keep claiming you're Wang Nan's son, and you can't even recognize her exclusive seal. That's way too unreasonable, isn't it? With that, I raised my hand and passed the seal to A gray-haired old man beside me. He's a senior figure in Haicheng's business circle, who has cooperated with Wang Nan for many years. He's extremely familiar with all of Tianyue's official tokens. Mr. Zhang, could you please help check it? See if this seal is really Ms. Wang's authentic one. Mr. Zhang took the seal, put on his reading glasses and examined it carefully. His fingertips brushed over the patterns on the seal body, then checked the engraving on the seal bottom. After a moment, he looked up. His gaze swept across Wang Lin and said in a firm tone, "This is definitely Ms. Wang's real seal, no mistake. The interlocking lotus patterns are the master's original carving work. The engraving on the bottom uses a special seal carving technique. It's impossible to counterfeit." Mr. Zhang's words were like a huge boulder thrown into a calm lake. The discussions at the scene instantly got even louder. The guests' looks towards Wang Lin changed completely, from previous flattery and fawning to scrutiny and doubt. Some even started to back away quietly, afraid of getting themselves into trouble. Bai Jiwei's face also darkened. He pulled Wang Lin to the side and asked in a low voice, "What the hell is going on? How does he have Ms. Wang's seal? Didn't you say you're Ms. Wang's son? How can you not even figure this out?" Wang Lin broke out in cold sweat on his forehead from the questions. His eyes darted around evasively. He stammered, My mom has a lot of seals. How am I supposed to recognize all of them? This must be a fake that this guy stole from somewhere. Mr. Zhang is old. It's normal for him to make a wrong judgment. He tried to act tough on the surface, but he was already panicking like crazy inside. He had no idea Wang Nan had such a seal at all, let alone seen the real thing. At first, he only accidentally saw Wang Nan in a group photo from the orphanage, and learned she is the CEO of Tianyue Group, so he came up with a crooked idea. When Wang Nan gave him a ride to the company for internship, he took a photo and posted it on his social media, lying that she was his mother. He never thought he'd get away with it all the way, and even got Huixiang's leaders to fawn over him in every way. But he never expected that at all. Zhang Chen actually took out Wang Nan's exclusive seal, and he even asked Mr. Zhang to verify its authenticity on the spot. His lie had already started to fall apart. I walked past Wang Lin, who looked totally flustered, and went straight up to the podium. I picked up the microphone. My clear, cold voice came through the speakers and spread across the entire venue, drowning out all the noise. Right now, I'm announcing that Tianyue Group is canceling the cooperation signing with Huixiang Company. Effective immediately, we are terminating all business dealings related to Huixiang. As soon as I finished speaking, the entire venue went dead silent. You could even hear a pin drop. Bai Jiwei suddenly snapped back to his senses. He rushed up to the podium, snatched the microphone away, and roared with a ferocious look on his face. "Zhang Chen, who the hell do you think you are? How dare you represent President Wang? To announce the cancellation of the cooperation. You're just an employee fired by Huixiang, holding a seal you got from God knows where, and you think you can scam people here. Let me tell you something. This signing is happening today whether you like it or not." He was totally furious by this point. The partnership with Tianyue is Huixiang's most important project this year. If it works out, Huixiang's market value will double. There's no way he'd just stand by and let Zhang Chen ruin everything. In his eyes, Zhang Chen was just a cornered dog acting out. Even if the seal was real, he must have stolen it through some underhanded means. He has no right to represent Tianyue at all. I looked at his flustered, furious face and spoke calmly. "Didn't I just tell you all? I'm the party A here." Wang Lin also rushed up to the podium, pointed his finger right at my nose, and screamed hysterically, "Zhang Chen, how do you have my mom's seal? Who the hell are you? What gives you the right to make decisions for my mom? Hand over the seal right now." His voice was shaking like he was about to cry, his eyes filled with fear and anger. He knew that the appearance of this seal had already made his lie teeter on the edge of falling apart. If he let Zhang Chen keep talking, everything he had worked so hard to build would turn to nothing. I stared at him steadily, speaking word by word, my voice not loud, but every word was clear. It came through the speakers, landing heavily in everyone's heart. Because she's my biological aunt. The venue immediately fell into dead silence again. Everyone held their breath, glancing back and forth between Wang Lin and me. Their eyes were filled with shock and confusion. He said President Wang is his aunt. Then that means he and Wang Lin should be cousins, right? But these two were at each other's throats the second they met, full of hostility towards each other. They don't act like relatives at all. They act like they have a blood feud against each other. What the hell is going on here? One of them must be lying. Either Zhang Chen is pretending to be President Wang's nephew, or Wang Lin is pretending to be President Wang's son. People will do anything these days to suck up to rich and powerful people. There's all kinds of scumbags out there. I just never thought that at such an important signing ceremony, we'd get this whole real versus fake young master drama. This is way more exciting than all the scheming in the business world. Wang Lin's face instantly went as pale as a sheet, all the color draining from his cheeks. His body swayed, and he almost fell off the podium. He only managed to stay standing by holding onto the microphone stand. The panic in his eyes was impossible to hide now, but he still forced himself to roar. That's impossible, you're lying. My cousin Zhang Lin has been studying abroad this whole time. He never came back to China. If he had come back, my mom would have definitely told me, "You're just a liar. You got fired from the company, so you hold a grudge. And you're pretending to be my cousin on purpose to ruin the signing. Do you think you'll actually get away with this?" He deliberately said my childhood nickname, trying to make everyone believe that he was really Wang Nan's son. He just had no idea that Zhang Lin is me. It's just the childhood nickname my family calls me. I've always used the name Zhang Chen for outside matters. He only heard that Wang Nan has a nephew named Zhang Lin from an old person at the welfare home by accident, and he had no idea that nephew was me standing right in front of him. Don't fall for his lies, everyone. Wang Lin pointed at me, his voice shrill. He got fired from our company because he's lazy and never did his job properly. That's the only reason. He's just getting revenge. Coming here on purpose to mess things up. That seal of his is definitely fake. He paid someone to forge it. Security, get him out of here right now. Don't let him spread lies here. He yelled at the security guards. But this time, those security guards just stood where they were, completely still, not moving an inch, looking at each other awkwardly. None dared to step forward. Elder Zhang's words were still ringing in their ears. This seal is authentic, and Zhang Chen claimed he was President Wang's nephew. If they really did kick him out, and what Zhang Chen said was true, they would have offended the young lady of Tianyue Group. They would never be able to get a foothold in Haicheng again. These days, less trouble is better than more. No one wanted to be the first to stick their neck out. Seeing the security guards wouldn't move, Bai Jiwei immediately stepped forward to speak to the crowd, trying hard to prove Wang Lin's identity. Everyone, don't fall for Zhang Chen's lies. He's a total fraud. He's worked at our Huixiang company for a year. He started as an ordinary sales rep and worked his way up to sales manager. If he really was President Wang's nephew, with a huge company like Tianyue Group backing him, why would he be willing to work at a tiny company like Huixiang? He paused for a moment, his eyes scanning the entire room. His tone got even more certain. Besides, the Zhang family is a prominent clan in Haicheng. With assets worth tens of billions, President Wang's nephew is the only heir of the Zhang family. With a super noble status, why would he be like this guy? Haggling over a small bonus, even fighting with an intern at a company dinner. He's just a hick from the countryside. He's no young master of the Zhang family. These people must be actors he hired. He just wants to use the signing ceremony as an excuse to suck up to rich and powerful people. Don't get tricked by him. Hurry up and kick all of them out. Don't delay the signing ceremony. Bai Jiwei's words sounded totally reasonable and immediately made many guests waver. They nodded in agreement, one after another, looking at me with contempt and disdain again. Yeah, if he really was President Wang's nephew and the heir of the Zhang family, why would he stoop so low to work at Huixiang? Why would he fight with an intern over a 40 yuan dish? Or tear up with the company over a 500,000 yuan bonus? That's not how a rich young master acts at all. Before I could retort, someone in the crowd suddenly raised a question. The speaker was the president of another group in Haicheng, who had done business with the Zhang family before, and had met me a couple of times. But I used the name Zhang Chen back then, so he didn't recognize me right away. That's not quite right, President Bai. Lots of rich kids like to experience life these days. Start from the bottom to prove their own abilities, without relying on their family connections. Maybe young Master Zhang is just one of those people. As soon as he said that, the crowd fell into hesitation again. Yeah, there are lots of low-key rich kids these days. What if Zhang Chen really is just experiencing life? Then they would have made a huge mistake today, Wang Lin retorted immediately, her voice full of emotion. I'm also experiencing life, right? When I interned at President Bai's company, my mom personally dropped me off, just to make sure no idiot would bully me. If he was really my cousin, why wouldn't my mom go with him to the company? Why would she let him suffer so much? As she spoke, she quickly took out her phone, opened her WeChat moments, and showed everyone the photo of Wang Nan, dropping her off for her internship. In the photo, Wang Nan was wearing a delicate white dress, standing next to a Maybach. Wang Lin was standing beside her, smiling sweetly and obediently. The caption said exactly, "Thank you, Mom, for taking time out of your busy schedule to drop me off for my internship. I will definitely not let you down. My aunt is a public figure in Haicheng, the president of Tianyue Group. She's super beautiful, with an outstanding aura. Everyone in Haicheng knows who she is. Everyone recognized the person in the photo immediately. It was indeed Wang Nan. After seeing this photo, the guests who had been hesitant earlier fully believed Wang Lin again. I told you so. How would cousins not know each other? Jiangchen must be a fake. Yeah, we have the photo as proof. Wang Lin is definitely President Wang's daughter. Jiangchen is just jealous. He came here on purpose to mess things up. Some young guys these days are so shameless. Just to suck up to rich and powerful people. They'll do anything. Pretending to be someone's nephew and forging a seal, that's just too much. That's so shameless. Whispers broke out again. Every word cut into me like a knife. Wang Lin looked at me smugly. A sneer tugged at the corner of his mouth, like he already had the win in the bag. Jiangchen, did you hear that? Everyone knows you're a liar. Get the hell out of here right now. Don't dirty Tianyue's floors. A lowlife like you isn't even fit to tie my mom's shoes. How dare you pretend to be my cousin? You forged a seal. If you don't leave now, I'll call the cops and have you arrested right now. As soon as he finished speaking, someone immediately chimed in, right. Call the cops! We can't let scumbags like this off easy! We have to make him know what jail food tastes like. Otherwise, more people will copy him later. I watched the scene unfold in front of me. I was absolutely floored by how shameless they were. They spread sleazy rumors about me, stole my top sales title, took my bonus, and got me fired from the company. Now all I did was show evidence to expose their lies, and they play the victim and accuse me first, calling me a liar and threatening to call the cops on me. Is there anything more ridiculous in the world? I was even a little confused. Where the hell did Wang Lin get his confidence, in front of so many Haicheng business elites, to pretend to be Wang Nan's son? Isn't he scared of getting his fake identity exposed and ending up totally disgraced? I stared at Wang Lin with a blank face. My gaze was ice cold, and my voice was frigid. Wang Lin, are you sure you want to call the police? He looked at me. A contemptuous smile spread across his face. He held his chin up high, like some high and mighty winner. What, are you scared? You know to be scared now. Where was this sense earlier? I can skip calling the cops, though. If you get on your knees right now and kowtow 100 times to me, and in front of everyone here, publicly admit you pretended to be my cousin and forged the seal, I might think about not calling the police and let you off this one time. He paused for a second. His eyes were full of calculation and greed. But you pretending to be my cousin and forging my mom's seal have already caused great reputational harm to my mom and Tianyue Group. So you have to pay me 1 million yuan for emotional damages, not a single cent less. I almost laughed out of anger. I stared straight at him. The sarcasm in my eyes was almost palpable. Wang Lin, you're really asking for the moon, huh? 100 kowtows, plus 1 million in emotional damages. Why don't you just rob people instead? I stepped forward and closed in on him. My gaze was sharp as a torch and swept across his deathly pale face. Also, you keep saying you're my aunt's son, but everyone here knows my aunt Wang Nan has been single for 40 years and has never been married. Haicheng paparazzi practically camp outside the Wang family's door every day. If she really had a son your age, how could there be zero news about it? Do you think anyone would believe you? My words hit like a clap of thunder, clearing up all the confusion at the scene. It was also like opening a floodgate. The whole place erupted instantly. The guests suddenly realized what was going on and started whispering to each other. Oh, right! How did I forget that? Ms. Wang is 42 this year and has been single for 40 years. We never even heard she had a boyfriend, let alone got married and had a kid. How could a son that old pop up out of nowhere? Maybe she had a kid in a secret marriage. Ms. Wang always keeps a low profile. She probably didn't want her husband and son bothered by paparazzi. That's why she kept it hidden. No way. Everyone knows how good Haicheng paparazzi are. We all know that. Forget secret marriage and kid. Even if she has a meal with someone of the opposite sex, it gets photographed and posted online. If Ms. Wang really had a son, that's already this old, there's no way she could hide it. Could it be an illegitimate child? The biological dad must be someone unsavory. That's why Ms. Wang never dared to admit it and only raised him in secret. All kinds of guesses popped up one after another. Wang Lin's face went as white as a sheet instantly. Cold sweat rolled down his cheeks from his forehead. He leaned against the table next to him. His fingers dug hard into the edge of the table, his knuckles turning white. He tried his best to explain. No, that's not true at all. I'm not my mom's illegitimate son. I'm her real biological son. Don't listen to his nonsense, everyone. He's nothing but a liar. He made up rumors on purpose to slander my mom and me. His explanation was totally unconvincing. His voice was shaking the whole time. Anyone could tell he was guilty and flustered. I cracked a faint smile. My tone was calm and flat, but every word cut like a knife. Then how can you prove that you're my aunt's son? With that deliberately staged photo of yours? Or is it that you knew my aunt is on an inspection trip to Africa today and can't make it to the signing ceremony, so you dared to impersonate her son openly to make profits for yourself and this shady Huixiang company? My words were like a sharp knife, stabbing hard into Wang Lin's heart. His face turned paler and paler, his lips trembling uncontrollably. He opened his mouth, but couldn't make a single sound. The panic and fear in his eyes couldn't be hidden anymore. Everyone's gaze turned, doubtful and scrutinizing, all landing on Bai Jiwei. Bai Jiwei also sensed something was off. He pulled Wang Lin over and lowered his voice, his tone laced with faint anger and suspicion. Wang Lin, are you actually Ms. Wang's son? I told you to invite your mom to the company to discuss cooperation, but you've been making all kinds of excuses to avoid it. One time you said she was on a business trip. Now that Jiang Chen said all this, you better explain this clearly to me. Are you lying to me? You're not Ms. Wang's son at all, are you? Bai Jiwei's heart already sank halfway at this point. The more he thought about it, the more wrong it felt. Wang Lin never let him meet Wang Nan even once. Every time Wang Nan was mentioned, he only used photos as proof. He wouldn't even give him Wang Nan's phone number. Now that Jiang Chen pointed all this out, he finally realized he might have been scammed from the very beginning. Wang Lin's face froze instantly. His body swayed a little. He started explaining in a panic. Of course I'm Ms. Wang's son. My mom is really busy. She's been on an inspection trip in Africa recently, handling the company's overseas business. So she really doesn't have time to meet you. Mr. Bai, I'm really not lying to you. You have to believe me. If you guys don't believe me, I'll show you photos of me when I was little. I've been with my mom since I was a kid. He fumbled with his phone in a fluster, pulled out a few childhood photos, and showed them to everyone present. But none of these photos were solo shots of him and Wang Nan. They were either photos of a small group of people, or big group photos with a crowd of people. In the photos, Wang Nan was standing among a group of kids, and Wang Lin was just one of them. There was no sign of any special relationship between them at all. He pointed at the photos and explained hastily. This was taken when I was little. My mom took me to the orphanage to make donations. This one was taken when I was 10. My mom took me to a charity gala. And this one was when I was 15. My mom celebrated my birthday with me. These photos are enough to prove that I am my mom's son, right? Someone in the crowd whispered. Ms. Wang is really passionate about charity work. She goes to the orphanage to donate every year and sponsors a lot of poor students. She's always had a great reputation in Haicheng. She's really a very kind-hearted person. Looking at it this way, Wang Lin might really be Ms. Wang's son. It's just that Ms. Wang keeps a low profile and doesn't want her son to be exposed to the public. That's why they rarely take solo photos together. These words were like a shot of adrenaline for Wang Lin. He straightened his back immediately and gave me a provocative smile, his eyes full of smugness. Jiang Chen, see that? Everyone believes I'm my mom's son. No matter how much you quibble, it's useless. You can't beat me. I'm definitely signing this contract today. He turned to look at Bai Jiwei, his tone urgent. Mr. Bai, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and sign the contract. Don't let this scammer ruin our big plan. With that, he grabbed Bai Jiwei's hand and tried to walk to the signing table, planning to privately sign the cooperation agreement without Wang Nan present at the scene. I stopped him in a cold voice, my tone full of unquestionable authority. Wait. I stepped forward quickly, reached out to block his path, and stared at him with icy eyes and let out a cold sneer. A few group photos with orphanage kids are enough to prove you're my aunt's son. Wang Lin, do you think everyone here is an idiot, since you claim you're my aunt's son, and you dare to take responsibility for your words? Then why don't we call the police? Let the police come and investigate. Find out if you're really the young master, or a fake. Find out if I really forged this seal. That way we can reveal the truth to everyone, and clear Tianyue Group's name. I took out my phone and pretended to dial 110. Panic immediately flashed across Wang Lin's face. He yelled in a hurry, "Don't call the cops." You can't call the cops. He reached out to snatch my phone, but I dodged sideways. I raised an eyebrow and looked at him. A mocking smile tugged at the corner of my mouth. Why, you kept saying you're the real one, right? Didn't you say I'm a liar? If that's the case, calling the cops to look into it would prove your innocence, right? And make me get the punishment I deserve. What are you scared of? I'm not scared. Wang Lin's eyes darted around. He stammered. This is the signing ceremony between Tianyue Group and Huixiang Company. It's a major event for Haicheng's business circle. There are so many people watching. If we call the cops, it'll draw media attention. It'll definitely hit the hot search later and affect Tianyue Group's stock price. For the sake of Tianyue's interests, we absolutely can't call the cops. He tried to use Tianyue's interests to cover up his own fear, but that excuse was full of holes. Everyone present is from the business circle. Everyone knows if they can prove Jiang Chen is a liar, forged the seal, and sabotaged the signing, it's actually a good thing for Tianyue Group. Not only will it show Tianyue's authority, it'll also boost the company's image. It won't affect the stock price at all. I smiled, my face full of mockery. When you wanted to catch me, this so-called liar, you were eager to call the cops. Now we need to look into your identity. As the fake son, you say we can't call the cops for Tianyue's stock? Wang Lin, do you think the law is made just for you, so only you're allowed to do whatever you want, but everyone else can't do anything? I picked up my phone again. I put my finger on the dial button and pretended to press it. Wang Lin completely panicked. He flew into a rage out of shame and lost his mind. He raised his hand to slap me across the face. He roared, Jiang Chen, you son of a bitch! How dare you go against me? I'll teach you a good lesson. His move was fast and ruthless, filled with all his rage. But he's lived a comfortable life for years, so he barely has any strength. I was already prepared. I dodged sideways and grabbed his wrist at the same time. I twisted his wrist backward only to hear a crisp cracking sound. Wang Lin let out a shrill scream. His wrist was twisted into a weird angle by me. I had no intention of letting him go. I raised my arm and slapped him hard across the face. There was a loud slap. The crisp sound echoed across the entire venue, drowning out all other noises. The slap made Wang Lin spin around in a circle. He lost his balance, fell to the ground, and covered his face. He was stunned on the spot, and didn't come to his senses for a long time. A clear 5-finger print instantly appeared on his cheek, swollen badly. After a while, he covered his face and looked up, his eyes full of anger and hatred. He stared at me fiercely and roared, Jiang Chen, you little bastard! I'm Wang Nan's son. How dare you hit me? You must be tired of living. My mom won't let you off. Tianyue Group won't let you off either. Who did you say you are? Why don't I remember having a son? A cold and dignified female voice suddenly came from the door. It pierced everyone's eardrums like ice. The whole venue went silent immediately. Everyone turned to look at the door subconsciously. The gate was slowly pushed open. A group of tall bodyguards in black suits surrounded a woman as she walked in gracefully. The woman was wearing a well-tailored, proper black business suit skirt. Her long hair was tied up, revealing her delicate swan neck. She wore delicate, light makeup. Her features were stunning, her aura cold and noble. Her gaze was as sharp as an eagle's. She was my aunt, who was always hard to track down. Was supposed to miss the signing ceremony because she went on an inspection trip to Africa. Wang Nan was followed by several core executives of Tianyue Group. All of them looked serious and had a really strong aura. As the group walked over, they carried a strong sense of oppression with them, making all the guests present hold their breath subconsciously, and stepped back to both sides one after another, not even daring to breathe too loudly. The moment Bai Jiwei saw Wang Nan, his face turned deathly pale instantly. His legs went weak, and he almost collapsed to the ground. He never expected that. Wang Nan would suddenly show up at the signing ceremony. Wasn't she supposed to be on an inspection trip in Africa? Wang Lin looked like she'd seen a ghost, trembling all over. The hand covering her face slowly lowered. Her eyes were filled with fear and despair. She mumbled to herself, Mom, why are you back? Aren't you in Africa? Aunt didn't even glance at her, walked straight through the crowd, and came up to me. She looked me up and down carefully. The sharpness in her eyes instantly turned into gentleness and distress. She raised her hand to stroke my cheek gently, and asked in a soft voice, My little prince, did he hurt you? Let Auntie take a look. Are you hurt anywhere? Auntie's voice was gentle, full of deep concern. It was totally different from her cold and dignified look just now. If just a moment ago, I could still face all this rationally, force down the grievance and anger in my heart to deal with Wang Lin. and Bai Jiwei. But the moment I saw Auntie, all my strength and pretense fell apart instantly. All the grievance, sorrow, anger, and resentment piled up in my heart were like a breached flood, rushing out all at once. My eyes turned red immediately. My nose stung. Tears were swirling in my eyes, but I stubbornly refused to let them fall. I shook my head. Auntie, I said with a choked voice. I'm fine. It was just 3 simple words, but they carried way too many emotions. When Auntie saw my red eyes, her gaze turned cold in an instant. She narrowed her eyes and looked around. A ruthless look appeared on her face. The authority of being in power for years, and killing intent spread out instantly, making the venue temperature seem to drop several degrees. Who bullied my nephew, Wang Nan's nephew? Auntie's voice was as cold as ice, filled with raging anger. It spread across the entire venue through the speakers, piercing through everyone's eardrums. All the guests who questioned me, laughed at me, and even insulted me were trembling with fear right now. They all lowered their heads, not daring to make a sound, not even daring to glance at Auntie. Those people who were just saying I was a fake, a kept man, wished they could find a crack in the ground to crawl into. They never expected that. Jiang Chen was really Wang Nan's biological nephew, and the only heir of the Jiang family. All the things they said just now were literally poking a hornet's nest. They offended the 2 people you never mess with in Haicheng. Auntie spoke coldly and ordered the bodyguards behind her. Pull up all the surveillance footage from the scene. Everyone who hurt my nephew, Wang Nan's nephew, no matter if they used their fists or their words, root them all out for me. Don't let a single one go, even if they just gave a dirty look or said one disrespectful word. Don't let any of them off. I want them to pay back 100 times over. Those words were like a death warrant from the king of hell, carrying undeniable authority, scaring all guests who spoke disrespectfully to me just now, trembling all over. They couldn't sit still any longer. They all came up to bow and apologize to Auntie and me. Their attitudes were humble to the extreme. We're sorry, Ms. Wang. We had no idea young Master Jiang is your biological nephew. We all heard Wang Lin say he was your son, and that young Master Jiang was a fake. That's why we said those rude things. We really didn't do it on purpose. Please calm down, Ms. Wang. Please forgive us just this once. We're sorry, young Master Jiang. We were too blind to see the truth and look down on you. We foolishly believed Wang Lin's lies and said a lot of offensive things to you just now. I'm willing to pay 1 million yuan in compensation to apologize to you. Please be magnanimous and let us off this time, please. Ms. Wang, young Master Jiang, we only did it for the sake of your son Wang Lin's reputation. I accidentally offended young Master Jiang. We were acting out of good intentions, and we were just tricked. Spare us, please. We'll never dare do this again. More and more people gathered around, bowing and apologizing to my aunt and me, handing over their business cards, offering all kinds of compensation terms. It's not like they actually realized their mistake. They're just intimidated by the power of the Wang family and the Zhang family. After all, given the Wang family's status in Haicheng, the strength of Tianyue Group, plus the Jiang family's billions in assets, the 2 families working together basically call all the shots in Haicheng. With a snap of their fingers, they could make these so-called wealthy clans lose everything they have and leave them with no place to stay in Haicheng's. How dare they offend them? My aunt's cold gaze swept across these people, with no trace of emotion on her face. She just spoke calmly. Now you know to apologize. When you called my nephew a kept man earlier, a fraud, a hick from the countryside, huh? Why didn't you think this would happen? Her words made the apologizing people even more ashamed. They hung their heads even lower, not daring to make a single sound. My aunt's gaze finally landed on Wang Ling, who was slumped on the ground. Wang Ling felt my aunt's icy gaze and trembled uncontrollably from fear. Cold sweat soaked through his clothes. He shrank his neck in fear and inched backward, trying to avoid my aunt's gaze. But he still summoned up his courage and called out weakly, "Mom!" There was no warmth in my aunt's eyes at all as she stared straight at him. The disgust and coldness in her eyes almost froze him solid. Her tone was ice cold, with no trace of emotion. "Liu Yu, didn't I tell you not to call me Mom? Have you forgotten what happened to those people?" Everyone froze when they heard the name Liu Yu. "Isn't his name Wang Ling? Why did the lady call him Liu Yu? What the hell is going on here? Wang Ling? No, he should be called Liu Yu." Hearing my aunt call out his real name, all the color drained from his face instantly, as if he'd been struck by lightning. He lifted his head abruptly, his eyes filled with shock and fear. His lips trembled as he said, "No, that's not true. Mom. Ms. Wang, I just love you so much. I have no other intentions. I just want to be your good son, really. Mom, please don't abandon me. He crawled towards my aunt as he spoke, trying to grab the hem of her clothes, but was kicked away by the bodyguard next to my aunt and fell to the ground. I'll be good. I promise I will never call you Mom in public ever again. I really didn't know Jiang Chen is my cousin. I know I was wrong. I'll apologize to him right now. Mom, please forgive me. Don't kick me out, please. He knelt on the ground, kowtowing nonstop to my aunt. His forehead hit the cold floor with a thud, then thud after thud. Soon his forehead was bleeding from the kowtows. But my aunt's gaze was still cold, with no trace of pity. The conversation between them shocked everyone present. Their eyes were wide open, their faces full of disbelief. The fearful gazes from earlier quickly turned into curious, gossipy looks. The sound of whispering started up again, only this time, the voices were kept very quiet. So his name isn't Wang Lin, it's Liu Yu. He's not Ms. Wang's son at all. Oh my god, what is going on here? Who is he exactly? How dare he pretend to be Ms. Wang's son? From what Ms. Wang said, it seems he called her Mom before too, and she warned him about it. Everyone who called her Mom ended up with a bad fate. My aunt frowned, killing intent rising in her eyes. She never bothers with clowns like him, giving meaningless explanations, nor does she bother explaining the whole story to everyone. She directly ordered the bodyguards behind her. Take him away, I don't want to see him ever again. He's an eyesore. 2 bodyguards stepped forward immediately and dragged Liu Yu up from the ground, ready to haul him away. When Liu Yu saw my aunt was really going to take him away, he completely panicked and started screaming and crying his heart out. Mom, you can't be this heartless. I'm the son you raised since I was little. I love you and respect you so much. You can't abandon your own son just for your nephew. Mom, please, don't kick me out. I was wrong, I'll never call you Mom again. Mom, please don't abandon me. His sobs were extremely shrill and grievous. They sounded especially harsh in the quiet venue. As soon as those words left his mouth, the whole crowd burst into an uproar. All the guests were completely stunned. Their faces were filled with disbelief. Oh my god, what a huge bombshell this is. Is Liu Yu really CEO Wang's illegitimate son? That CEO Wang just refuses to acknowledge. That's why she's been hiding it all this time. Even if he is an illegitimate child, he still has the Wang family's blood in his veins. CEO Wang won't even let him call her Mom. That's way too cruel of her. Exactly, what did the kid do wrong? He can't choose his own parents after all. CEO Wang's behavior is so unethical. She has no regard for family ties at all. Maybe the illegitimate kid's biological dad did something that wronged CEO Wang. That's why CEO Wang is taking it out on the kid and refuses to acknowledge him. Even if that's the case, though, the kid is innocent. The way CEO Wang treats him is way too cruel. People were saying all sorts of things. All kinds of speculations popped up at once. Aunt was soon labeled as cold and heartless and unfeeling toward family ties. But Aunt didn't change her expression at all, as if she hadn't heard these comments at all. I looked at Liu Yu, who was kneeling on the ground crying, then glanced at Aunt, whose face was livid with anger. I know Aunt has always been soft-hearted despite her tough words. She is just unwilling to, in front of all the people present, explain these old bygones from years ago. I walked up to Liu Yu, bent down and stared at him. With a cold look in my eyes, I spoke word by word. My voice spread across the whole venue through the speakers. To clear Aunt's name, Wang Lin, no Liu Yu. Save your little acting stunt right now. Aunt didn't explain herself. Doesn't mean I don't know the truth. Today, on behalf of my aunt, I will lay out everything clearly for everyone, so everyone can see what kind of trash you really are. When Liu Yu heard what I said, his sobs stopped abruptly. He looked up, his face covered in blood. His eyes were filled with shock and panic, which finally turned into despair. I stared at him, my gaze sharp as a blade. I enunciated every word. You, Liu Ko, are not my aunt's son whatsoever, nor are you any illegitimate child. You are just one of the many orphans that my aunt sponsors. As soon as I said this, the whole venue fell dead silent again. Everyone's eyes widened in shock, their faces full of disbelief. My aunt is passionate about charity work. She sponsors over a dozen orphans from Haicheng Welfare Home. You are one of them. You grew up in the welfare home since you were little. You went to school with my aunt's financial support. When you were little, all of you sponsored kids. Thought my aunt was gentle and kind, just like a mother, so you all liked to call her Mom. My aunt didn't turn you down. She just treated all of you like her own children. I paused for a moment, my gaze sweeping across Liu Yu's deathly pale face, and continued speaking. but no one expected. When you grew up, some boys actually had dirty, malicious intentions, using the fact that they called my Aunt Mom as kids as an excuse. They claimed to the public that they were my aunt's illegitimate sons, wanting to use my aunt's status to suck up to rich and powerful people. They even did a bunch of things that damaged my aunt's reputation, which caused several of my aunt's blind dates to fall through. So her marriage prospects have been bad all along. My aunt couldn't take it anymore, so she had to issue an official statement, proving that she is single and has no children, and has never had any illegitimate children. Those boys who spread rumors on purpose also got the legal punishment they deserved, and were sent to the detention center. My aunt also made a clear rule. From that point on, none of the kids she sponsors can call her mom anymore, to avoid causing unnecessary trouble again. And as for you, Liu Yu, after those people were punished, you put on an act of being simple, naive, and unworldly. Helpless and pitiful, you cried and sniveled in front of my aunt, saying you never had those dirty intentions. You just genuinely saw my aunt as your mother. My aunt is soft-hearted, and felt bad that you grew up with no parents, so she didn't hold you accountable. She even wrote a recommendation letter for you, the day she introduced you to Huixiang Company for an internship. She went to the company to discuss a cooperation deal, and gave you a ride there on the way. Who would have thought you'd take this photo and told everyone he's my aunt's son, to scam and con people? Not only does he throw his weight around in the company, bully his colleagues, he also stole my top sales title and took my bonus away. He even dared to, at the signing ceremony, pretend to be my aunt's son, collude with Huixiang Company, to cheat Tianyue out of its cooperation resources. Tell me, don't you deserve to be punished? My words hit the scene like a series of bombs. Everyone suddenly realized the truth. The looks they threw at Liu Yu immediately shifted, from sympathy to contempt and disgust. Turns out this seemingly pitiful son of CEO Wang is actually an ungrateful backstabber. He was funded by CEO Wang growing up. Instead of being grateful, he used CEO Wang's identity to scam people and damaged CEO Wang's reputation. People like him are totally unforgivable. The guests who called my aunt cold and ruthless just now were all covered in shame at this moment. They didn't dare say another word. All they felt towards my aunt now was guilt and anger towards Liu Yu. Liu Yu's face got paler and paler, until it turned ashen gray. He collapsed to the ground, twitching weakly all over his body. His lips were trembling, his voice shaking uncontrollably. No, that's not me, I didn't do it. He still tried to lie his way out, but the facts were right in front of everyone. He had no way to defend himself at all. I let out a contemptuous laugh. You didn't? Then tell me, why were you scared to let Bai Jiwei meet my aunt? Why did you keep making excuses to put it off? Why did you, when you saw me take out my aunt's seal, panic so badly? Why did you, the second I mentioned calling the cops, try every possible way to stop me? Liu Yu, all the things you've done are all laid out clearly in front of everyone. You still want to deny it? I really see CEO Wang as my mom. I've looked up to her since I was a kid. I'm not lying. Mom! No! CEO Wang, please believe me. I really want to be your son. Liu Yu was still putting up a last-ditch fight, his eyes filled with pleading, as he looked at my aunt. My aunt glared at him in disgust. The coldness in her eyes could almost freeze him solid. Her voice was stern, tinged with deep disappointment. If Linlin hadn't called to tell me that you've been using the title of son of me, Wang Nan, to swagger around outside and bully her, I would have stayed in the dark, thinking you were a grateful kid. Liu Yu, I, Wang Nan, in my entire life, hate ungrateful people the most, who repay kindness with harm. I funded you, paid for your education, got you a job, not so you could use my identity to scam people and bully my family members. If you were really weak and helpless, the Wang family can easily afford to feed you. I'd even be willing to let you stand on my shoulders to achieve your dreams. But you dared to even bully my most beloved nephew. What you've done has disappointed me so much. Your actions have severely damaged my reputation and ruined the image of Tianyue Group. I won't show you any mercy for old times' sake. I will sue you for defamation and identity impersonation and commercial fraud. Wait for the lawyer's letter. My aunt's words completely shattered Liu Yu's last hope. He collapsed to the ground, his face as pale as ashes, his eyes empty. Gone was his previous arrogance and smugness. All that was left was endless despair. He knew he was totally finished. With Wang Nan's power, if she sues him, he'll never get back on his feet for his whole life. Liu Yu suddenly thought of something and crawled quickly to my feet, grabbing my legs, sobbing and begging miserably. Master Jiang! Master Jianglin, I'm wrong. I'm really wrong. Please be magnanimous, sir. Forgive me just this once. I don't want to go to jail. Please let me off. I won't dare do it again. I'm still young. If I get a criminal record, my whole life is over. I'll kowtow to you. I apologize to you. Please spare me. Just pretend I'm a fart and let me go. He kept kowtowing to me as he spoke. Blood from his forehead smudged on my pants leg. It looked extremely disgusting. I looked at his groveling, begging look. My face showed no flicker of emotion at all. There wasn't a single trace of pity in my eyes. Liu Yu, stop using your youth as an excuse for your mistakes. Everyone in this world has to pay for their own mistakes. You are no exception. You pretended to be my aunt's son and threw your weight around at Huixiang Company. You ordered your colleagues around like they were your servants. You poured boiling hot coffee on the new employee Lin Shi's head, leaving blisters all over his scalp. You even threatened him, saying he wasn't allowed to ask for an apology, or you would kick him out of the company. You stole my top sales title, took my 500,000 yuan bonus, and got me fired from the company. You even slandered me in front of the whole company, saying I got good performance with my looks, that I was a kept man. You also publicly insulted me at the signing ceremony, told the security guards to throw me out, and even tried to hit me. When you did all these things back then, how come you never thought you'd end up like this? You were so arrogant back then, so smug and full of yourself. You thought you had my aunt as your backer, so you could do whatever you wanted and bully anyone as you pleased. You thought I had no connections or backers, so you could push me around however you wanted. But you forgot. What goes around comes around. No one gets away with bad deeds forever. All the immoral things you've done will have to be paid for sooner or later. Every word I said cut him to the core. Liu Yu's body suddenly went stiff. The hands clutching my leg slowly loosened their grip. His lips were trembling, and he couldn't get a single word out anymore. All that was left in his eyes was endless regret and despair. The bodyguard stepped forward, lifted the limp Liu Yu, and dragged him straight outside. Liu Yu didn't cry or scream anymore. And he didn't beg for mercy either. He just acted like a lifeless puppet, getting dragged out of the venue by the bodyguards. What waits for him next is severe punishment from the law. With Liu Yu dealt with, I turned to look at Baiji Wei, who was standing off to the side with a pale face and shaking all over. My gaze was ice cold. I spoke every word clearly, Mr. Bai, now. It's your turn. Baiji Wei went stiff all of a sudden, as if he had just been struck by lightning. His face turned completely ashen. He stared at me, his lips trembling, unable to say a single word for a long time. Cold sweat ran down his cheeks from his forehead, soaking through his shirt. His voice was shaking as he tried to make one last desperate plea, Young Master Jiang, look, this is all a misunderstanding. I was also tricked by that Wang Lin. Oh no, I mean by Liu Yu. I had no idea he wasn't your aunt's son at all. If I had known, even if I had 100 guts, I would never dare to offend you. We've worked together for a whole year after all. You know what, I always thought highly of you, you know? I only did what I did for the future development of the company. I just lost my head for a moment and believed Liu Yu's nonsense. I looked at his groveling appearance and thought about all the things he had done before. A cold, mocking smile tugged at the corner of my mouth. Thought highly of me, Mr. Bei. I'm really so flattered by your high opinion of me. His face was covered in sweat. He panicked and stammered. Then you! I was bewitched by that loser Wang Lin. I didn't actually mean to make things hard for you. You know, back then we all thought he was Mr. Wang's son. We didn't dare to offend him. If you had told us back then that you were Mr. Wang's nephew, and he was a fake, I would definitely have kicked him out of the company. I stared at him and asked, if I had told you, would you have believed me? He twitched the corner of his mouth and couldn't say a word. Mr. Bai, I want you to say it clearly in front of everyone here. Does Jiang Chen deserve the title of top salesperson or not? Does he deserve the 500,000 yuan bonus or not? He admitted almost immediately, young Master Jiang worked at the company for a year. He's extremely outstanding. The top sales title is fully deserved. Forget 500,000 yuan bonus. Even 5 million yuan isn't enough to show how outstanding young Master Jiang is. He looked at me, with an obsequious smile on his face. Jiang Chen, everything has been cleared up now. We're all victims here. Besides, your resignation process isn't finished yet, so it doesn't count as you resigning. Come back to work. I'll give you the position of sales director. The top sales title is yours. I'll give you that 500,000 yuan bonus right away. Just put in a good word for me with Mr. Wang, and let's sign the contract, okay? As he said that, he actually transferred the 500,000 yuan to me. I was so disgusted by him I almost threw up. He's already in such a terrible situation. He's still thinking about the partnership with Tianyue. I really wonder what his thick skin is made of. I stared at him coldly and asked, Mr. Bai, you don't actually think that I'm holding a grudge over that 500,000 yuan and canceled the cooperation with you, do you? He froze for a second. He said unconfidently, aren't you? Before I could say anything, my aunt spoke up. Of course not. Linlin holds 20% of the shares in Tianyue Group. She makes hundreds of millions in dividends a year. The Zhang family's tens of billions in assets all belong to their only daughter, 500,000 yuan. Her monthly pocket money is more than 10 times that amount. Why would she care about your 500,000 yuan? Baijue's face flushed bright red instantly. He was so regretful he wanted to slap himself a few times. How could I miss out on such a cash cow? I looked at him and gave a mocking smile. Mr. Bai, when I chose not to work at my aunt's company and picked your company instead, my goal was to train myself. I could have gone back to my family's company to be the boss, right after my internship ended, but I couldn't bear to abandon the career. I built step by step all by myself. I also didn't have the heart to leave the supervisors who used to see me as a promising talent. But Mr. Bai, the Wang Lin incident made me see who you really are and see what your company is really like. You don't deserve to have me work for you. Even less do you deserve to be Tianyue's partner. A company that harms its employees for profit will be eliminated by the market forever. Also, I accepted that 500,000 yuan right in front of him. I don't care about the bonus. This is what I rightfully earned. What I want is fairness. After saying that, I looked at my aunt and smiled softly. Auntie, it's your turn. My aunt smiled back at me knowingly. She picked up the phone and only said one sentence. Completely block Huixiang. Remember, I want nothing left of them. Baijue hadn't even processed what my aunt just said. Phone calls started coming in one after another. Mr. Bai, we have a problem. Client A canceled their cooperation with us. Mr. Bai, Client B filed a complaint, demanding 100 million yuan in compensation. Mr. Bai, the company's stock hit the limit down. Baijue froze on the spot. His face went from white to green, then to black, and finally turned ashen. He mumbled to himself, it's over, everything's over. Liu Yu used the identity of General Manager Wang's son to collect a lot of ill-gotten gains outside. He squandered all that money. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison for fraud. He could have had a bright future ahead of him, but he destroyed it with his own hands. I don't care about those people who brought trouble on themselves. They got what they deserved. I'm going to start a new chapter and welcome a broader future.